We're talking about cultural differences and the different areas. I just realised this. I didn't even realise that I've had this opportunity and this exposure. I mean, apart from the East-West thing, and I've worked in the States, I've worked in the UK, and they all work totally different. And if you're not aware of the cultural differences, then that's where you're going to get some sticky points. Leverage the points that people like about the different cultures, and leverage the bits that you can take advantage of their culture, and vice versa. If you're not leveraging the strengths, then, you know, then there's your problem. I mean, have a look at Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketballers of all time, but he's a terrible baseballer, you know. And you know what? He's a smart guy. He got out of baseball, you know. These are the things you do. They're not very, it's not rocket science, right? Find your strengths, leverage them. But what you've got to do is leverage your cultural strengths. And, you know, if you're an overseas student and you've had an opportunity to come here, that's your power, you know. You might not be as out there as the Australians, you might not be as dynamic, and you might not drink as much beer, but damn straight you've got that cultural history behind you that's so strong that there's nothing that can take it. You know, the power behind the Asian mind in particular is insurmountable. That's why China's so powerful. That's why it was one of the most powerful cultures in the past, and will be one of the most powerful cultures in the future. Same with the Indians. They've got a very, very strong cultural background, and you know, if you can leverage that, oh my goodness, these people are going places. China and India alone, they're coming up, and everyone knows the US and the US dollars, it's going down. Beware of that. And I don't mean to disparage the fact that the US is not going somewhere, but they've hit their limits at the cultural level, and they'll find an answer, but at the moment they're floundering. And this is where the Asians are really going to be very, very powerful, and I'm really looking forward to this next decade, because I think that's the dynamic change that the planet's been looking for to take things to the next level. I mean, we moved from the industrial age to the intellectual or the information age, and there's the power, because the industrial age required hard iron, it required the factories, it required the know-how. And you know, these days that doesn't matter. It's what's in here that counts. And if you've got this all right, oh my goodness, that's something else. And you know what? That's what the one thing that's really interested me. I do a lot of work in China. I actually do a lot of charity work in China, and I actually work with school-age kids, 8, 10, whatever. The biggest question they ask is, what is the West doing? What are they doing? I had an 8-year-old ask me, what would you define as success, and what would be the characteristics that would make you a successful person? That's a powerful question for an 8-year-old. I mean, I didn't ask myself that question until probably 1 or 2 years ago. Have a think about that. If that kid masters those skills, that's in your head, there's no stopping them, because these people will just got so much passion, so much energy, so desperate to be as successful as the West has been, you know, and they're out there, and they've got that cultural history behind them, that leverage, that force, that I don't know if you'd call it a clan, but certainly a cultural background that's very strong. They like to work together, they work in teams. That's where the power of the Chinese is in, say, for instance, San Francisco or in Singapore. I mean, I was speaking to Joe here just a moment ago about there's only 55 million Chinese outside of China, but their gross national product's 25% larger than China's. And that's 55 million people versus 1.6 billion people. Those people are doing something different. And do you know what? They're adapting. That's the power. The people who change, the people who learn, the people who adapt, they're the people that are going to own the intellectual or the information age. So, I mean, you know, we're at a ripe time, and if you're really willing to learn something, my goodness, there's no limits to where you can be.
How good was that?